Welcome to the Community Brew Podcast, Commerce and Conversations, brought to you by the carefree Cave Creek Chamber of Commerce, where local business meets local flavor in the heart of the beautiful Desert Foothills region. We're serving up fresh insights, inspiring stories from business owners, experts, and community leaders shaping our vibrant community, including simple strategies to help you grow your business faster. And now, here's your host, President and CEO of the Carefree Cave Creek Chamber of Commerce, Steve Feld.
Hello and welcome back to another great episode. Today we have Aerick Squire from Arizona Custom Sign Works. I like adding more letters to his name because they do so much, and we're going to find out all the great things that they do. So welcome, Aerick.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, tell us a little bit about your business. I know it's in the name, but I think you do a lot more than what that just says.
Sure. So Arizona Custom Sign Works, where we call ourselves a one-stop solution, signage and graphic solutions for your company, your business. We provide branding solutions. We do wall graphics, window graphics, vehicle graphics, external like channel letters, what they're called, like your exterior business signs that are either lit or non-lit. Again, going back into the sign and graphics business, it's commercial, so we are business to business. We don't do retail, if you will, as far as people just walking in looking for like the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts flyers. We don't do that. But we do focus on businesses and helping them get their name prominently displayed in the way that they need to drive their business.
See what I tell you, folks, they do more than just basic sign. They do quite a bit. Well, thanks for explaining that. How long have you been in business?
Yep. So we started building the shop. We're at Cave Creek in the 101. We started building the shop in October of last year and ran our first order, if you will, in January of 2025. So we're coming to the end of our first year in business. It's been a great ride. We've grown about 2 times more than what I had expected in our first year. I've got 4 employees, including myself, and we're very happy with the space that we're in and serving the community.
Great. I know starting a new business, especially doing a build out, there's always some great, crazy challenges. What are some of the crazy challenges that you had to overcome to start your business?
Yeah, so, you don't know what you don't know when you get in. And I'm a Tony Robbins subscriber, so he calls it pushing through your stops. That internal dialogue, where you wake up in the morning and for 15 minutes you think you got it all figured out, and then 30 minutes later you think, what was I thinking? I shouldn't be doing this. Just that internal dialogue and having external forces to help have you, so you're not negotiating with yourself all the time on all the reasons this isn't going to work out. I'd say that's been the biggest challenge as a new business owner. I tell people, I'm 52, I've been in business my entire life, started with newspapers when I was a kid and 11 years old throwing newspapers. So I'm new to sign and graphics business. I've been in it about 1.5 years now, but I'm not new to business. I always tell people too, in my first year, my previous business experiences, I can't tell you how many times on a daily basis, I'm like, I know how to do this, because I did that when I was over in this business or over in this business. But going back to the challenges, everybody talks about people. In every market I've ever worked in, every business I've worked in, everybody says, oh, you can't find good people. It's post-COVID. COVID ruined the world. I don't subscribe to that. I think if you build a great environment, build a great culture, you do what you say you're going to do, you take care of people, people will find you. And as long as you take care of them and manage your business, lead by example, take care of your folks, I think you can find great people. It doesn't matter what business you're selling, what business you're running, or your location. I think you can overcome that.
Great. You brought up a lot of stuff. And I know you are a graduate now of the alumni of the Desert Foothills Leadership Academy. Plenty of information on our website regarding that. But you also did something very unique and created some signs, and I know you distributed them to the other participants. Can you talk about it, give them a little background on it and what those signs were and how it has helped you in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we're a sign and graphics company. So we take from concept to it's on your wall. And in this case, what Steve's alluding to is my entire 2025, I had different, I subscribe, like as I said, Tony Robbins. I watch Jim Rohn videos. There's other business books. We're in Mastermind Group. I belong to a company called Sign World. It's like the parent organization. We're not a franchise, but it's run like that. I have no rules, no royalties, any of that. But I have all the support of 350 other Sign World owners across the country. These guys have been in business, this company, for 35 years. So they know what they're doing. And we're assigned, we opt in to several different phone calls a week or live Zoom calls. So I plug in with that community. But in my mastermind group, in the books that I've been reading in my first year, we just started EOS. If you haven't heard of that, it's Entrepreneur Operations System. all of those said you need to have a mission statement, and it needs to be in writing, and you need to know what your core values are, and you need to know what your critical actions are, and all this should be in writing. And I was like, that's kind of dorky. Every company I've worked at the corporate level, like, yeah, rah, rah. I'm not a let's do a dance and all that kind of guy. So I always had it here. The problem is, as I started building my team, they didn't have it. Like, they didn't understand what I was talking about because it wasn't in writing. At the end of, well, it was just 2 months ago, I was out in Salt Lake visiting one of the sign world owners out there, and he had a beautiful, he got a sign and graphics company. He had a beautiful mission statement that they had printed and done in-house and mounted on a beautiful piece of a clear acrylic over their printer. And I took pictures of that, and it just so happened that the book I was reading on the airplane talked about how do you grow your small business, and it said you should have a mission statement, it should be printed, it should be in writing. In addition to that, we do make decals for our desktops, literally our physical desks. And it reiterates all that information so that at any time, anywhere in the shop, I can say our company's Arizona Custom Sign Works. We say it's the ACS way. So ACS are the 3 letters. So we're going to follow that because that's the ACS way. That's how we do things. What happened with DFL is, guess what? Who else was teaching me the entire year? We meet once a month on Thursdays. So it's the third Thursday, I think, of the month.
Yep.
And what happens is you get a binder, and in that binder, the first half of your 8 hours is spent on business management. And guess what was in there? You should have a mission statement. You should have big, audacious goals. And Jim Sherbert, the guy that runs the entire event, just keeps hammering on you. Well, again, I was in Salt Lake. I'm hearing it in all angles, and I'm like, you know what? Why have I not done this? So I did that, and at our second to last meeting, I was able to bring examples of that in and then distribute it to the group to give back to the community of the other 24 DFL graduates that were in there with me to say, I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, but if you want me to make these for your company, we can do that for you as well.
Great. So that's taking your, the practical, what you're learning and applying it in your business.
Absolutely.
And it's made an impact. Obviously, now your staff and everyone knows where you're coming from and what the business is about.
Perfect example of that. I got a brand new guy just worked for me, moved down from Duluth, Minnesota. He's been in the business 35 years. And we hung a sign, and he came back to the shop and he said, hey, the sign's got a little bit of a bend in it. Like, we didn't quite measure the top. The building's leaning, so it's got a little curve in it. And he looked down at that decal on my desk, and he's like, I think we should fix that because it's the right thing to do for the customer. And I can tell you, if I didn't have that mission statement, we've got it in some plaques in our conference room. We've got it in our production room. And like I said, everybody's desk. He wouldn't have caught that. He would have just said, oh, good enough. Let's just move on. But he knew it starts with me. I'm the business owner. I own it. I run it. And I hold my people accountable, good and bad. And he knew that he's going to catch this, and we need to do what's right for our customer. Because guess what? It's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. Great. And I know you've been in the chamber. Are you developing partnerships, not with just necessarily chamber members, but other businesses in the community?
Oh, absolutely. Tech for Life. I just came from them. They're across the hall here. Tech for Life. We had a big problem that I created. Our company's growing, and when I started with GoDaddy, great company, by the way. But I was getting spam. So when I would send emails to my customers, they'd say, I didn't get your email. I didn't get your email. Well, it was because it was going through another server. So it was going from us through GoDaddy, blah, blah, blah. And so I started figuring out, hey, I've got a problem here. I also bought Microsoft Outlook through GoDaddy, and I needed to get off of that as well because I was running into capacity issues. I had a laptop that was running into capacity issues. Like I said, we've grown. In the sign and graphics business, we have huge files because everything we have are pictures. So those take up a lot of space. I was panicking. I'm like, we're getting spammed. We need to make a change. And we got locked out of Microsoft Authenticator. And so I lost my email on a Friday. It was going to be gone indefinitely. And because of I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce here. And I started my membership a year ago by going to the breakfasts that are held at Harold's at the last Thursday of the month, right? And Tech for Life was there. And Jen, she's very boisterous. And I was like, Tech for Life, Tech for Life. I called, they gave me Colin. He was like, that afternoon, yeah, how can I help you? You gotta understand, I had no email. We couldn't send an email. We couldn't receive emails. I was panicking. And he came right in. We were able to build a new system. I was just over there today, and now they're going to host my website for me as well. So I would have never have known them if it wasn't for the Chamber of Commerce. And they're right here. Literally, in all of that, Colin was like, hey, I'm slammed. I can't make it to your shop. And I said, well, I'll just come up and see you guys. So having them local like that was a big benefit. And I wouldn't have had that if I'd not been a member of the chamber and attended the breakfast because I wouldn't have known who Jen was.
Yeah, breakfasts are fun.
Absolutely.
In what ways do you give back to the community?
Yeah, so that DFL class, DFL stands for Desert Foothills Leadership. So when I signed up for that, I've lived up in this area since 2005. My wife and I, we live at Tatum and Dynamite. I frequent all the businesses. As a business owner now, I want to know other business owners. And so when I was at the breakfast a year ago, Steve did an event. It was, I think, the November breakfast or maybe the December one. He said, okay, who are the DFL graduates of this year? Please stand up. And I noticed that in that room, everybody that stood up, I were like the leaders in the room on the breakfast that I had attended. Those in the alumni, or not the alumni, what do you call them? Ambassadors, the ambassadors as well. And I wanted to be part of that. I said, I live here. I work here. I live here. I frequent all these. We're in Harold's all the time. I own motorcycles. Like we're up in Cave Creek. All that. How come I don't know Carson's Ace Hardware? I'm in his shop all the time. How come I don't know all the businesses that are all around us? How come I don't know these leaders, these people that have built these businesses? So that was why I signed up. I did not sign up for the expectation of getting business. I signed up for the expectation to get plugged in with the community.
Excellent. And this I hear a lot of times from business owners. It's like, what lesson did you learn that you wish you would have known sooner in starting your business?
I'm going to go back to just push through your stops. I mean, it's hard. You got everything coming at you, and if you can't keep your head up, I don't know how people can survive this on their own. And I mean, I do my very best to stay plugged in. I tell people, this world's out. There's a lot of negativity. Just turn the news on. How do you counteract that if you don't have systems in place, and whatever that is, whether it's a podcast like this or books or mastermind groups or all that? I use all of that to help push me through. Not every day is bad. I'm not trying to make it sound like that, but there are tough times. There are tough days that you second guess a lot of different decisions that you've made. And I think you need to have that exterior source helping you along, pulling you in and pulling you up to say, hey, you're doing it okay. You're going to make mistakes as you go, but stay in the fight because it's worth fighting.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, big fan of. What keeps you motivated as a leader in your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, my whole life I've worked for other companies. I've worked for other people, and I've always done very well. I'm not saying that to brag, but I've always done well. And I've always wanted my own business. So the last 20 years, I'm a mortgage guy, and it's been good and bad. And I lived through '08. I was in a business before '08 happened, and I've lived through COVID, pre-COVID, and then post-COVID. And then obviously the last 3-4 years have been awful because I don't control the mortgage marketplace. The 10-year bond market controls interest rates, and buyers and sellers move off of that. I didn't build anything. I had a laptop and a phone, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I've always wanted to build an asset. I always wanted to own my own company and build an asset. And I've got an automotive background, worked at Checker Auto Parts for 16 years, did everything in that company from store manager to district manager to corporate buyer. So I have that skill set, if you will, an engineer skill set, if you will, but I didn't want to open a shop that was automotive. I didn't want to get into that. And when I started looking at sign and graphics business, it hit a lot of my boxes as far as having a shop, having an asset, building a company, having employees, being able to control it, grow it, scale it, run it well, and in a clean environment. We have a wide format HP 700 printer. It does 60-inch printing. It's latex based. There's no waste on it. We're not a wasteful, dirty business. We're a very clean business, and that really helped me say, yeah, this is a good fit for me. Also, it's very technical. I never thought about that. The permit applications we have to do with the city, with technical drawings, the technical drawings for your signage, for exterior signage, or even interior. We would do a lot of lobby signs. How tall are those letters? How deep are those letters? What color are the letters? Are they lit? Are they not lit? Are they somewhat lit? How do you mount it to the wall? There's a lot of technical aspects of the job that really fit my skill sets, and that's why I got into the business.
Great. Now, I always ask this question. It's a very loaded question. What's one of your favorite places or hangouts up here? It could be restaurant, retail, art gallery, things to do.
Yeah, so Harold's, again, I have motorcycles. I restore old vintage Honda motorcycles. So we're up here for Bike Week. I'm not a Harley guy, but outside of owning a Harley, I'm a big motorcycle guy. So we come up here often. I've got a 71 Chevelle that I restored. So there was just a car show up here last month, and this place was packed. Just come. I live right here, Tatum and Dynamite. So we come up here often. We ride our motorcycles up. We go up to Ravens View. It's a great ride up to the top of the hill and back. But just everything in this community. It's why we live here. We love living here.
What kind of things do you have coming up in the next year? What are your plans?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, like I said, we're busy. I follow the recipe. We're following the work. We implemented EOS. We just started doing that. Our biggest challenge for our company is keeping up. And so I'm at the end of this year right now in the fourth quarter, I'm taking a step back in the selling of jobs and working in the business. I'm sorry, working on the business and creating some new systems to help us keep up because we're plateaued right now. The phone's ringing like crazy. Leads are coming in. I'm not complaining about any of that, but we've got to implement some systems to be better. Then EOS is helping us do that as well as some other things. We've hired some consultants to come in and say, hey, let's make some tweaks here and some changes, like a different hosting for our website and doing some different marketing efforts as well to continue to drive the business to the company.
Great. And how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, that's great. So 602-325-3205, that's our number. Also our website, azcustomsignworks.com. Again, we're at Cave Creek in the 101. We've got a website, we're at a Google business page. This is the other thing I'd tell you, if you're a business owner, get your Google business page verified up and running. The minute we did that, our phone started ringing. How do people find you? They're going to Google. I need a business sign. I need a custom sign. I need a lobby sign. I need my vehicle wrapped, whatever. And near me, if you're not established with Google Business and verified, I think you're missing a big opportunity there. And I believe it's free.
I agree. And we will have all of Aerick's contact information in the show notes. Is there any last words you'd like to tell everyone?
I never understood what the Chamber of Commerce did before I did this a year and a couple of months ago. And it's been one of the best communities that I've plugged into. Again, I live here. I frequent all these businesses. I am a business owner here now. And to get to build these relationships, I purposely pushed myself out of my comfort zone to sign up for DFL. They only take 25 people a year. It's a year. It's you commit to being there once a month. I think it's 9
months.
9 total. But getting plugged in with your community, one of the challenges I had at the end of my mortgage career is I just sat around and didn't do anything, and God didn't build me that way. I'm a go-getter, and I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to do my business and part of our business plan is to get plugged in with the Chamber of Commerce, I'm not going to just become a member and then sit idly by. And when I first met with Steve, and there are folks here in this office about becoming a member, they said that happens all the time. Business owners come in, they sign up, and they never hear from them again. And then they wonder why they're not getting business driven to them. So I would say, it's like anything else. Become active in what you do and what you're passionate about, and give back. Have a servant mentality, and everything seems to work out if you do that.
Funny how that always works.
So weird.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
And on that tip, I'll tell you, people ask me, how come you guys are so busy so quick? And I tell them, business 101, answer the phone, right? Under promise and over deliver. Do what you say you're going to do. It really comes down to that.
Yeah, just executing. That's
Absolutely.
it.
Yep.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. And folks, if you like Aerick and other guests, make sure you like and subscribe up to this channel to see how many other great experts that we have in our community here that are serving all of us. Thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate your time today. Thanks for watching. Arizona Custom Sign Works.
Thank you all. This is Steve Felt from the Chamber, wishing you and your business much success.
Thanks for joining us on the Community Brew Podcast, Commerce and Conversations. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, fellow business owners, and community champions. Don't forget to check out our other episodes for more tips, stories, and strategies to help your business grow, all served with a local twist. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep brewing success in the desert foothills. The Carefree Cave Creek Chamber of Commerce wishes you much success.